I'm hippie energy, but like also I'm like luxury energy, bitch. Like I'm like fur coats, fucking thigh-high boots, and like a Swarovski crystal little zhuzh, you feel me? Like just with my sunglasses on, like giving people the same face. Like bitch, that's like I live in that, like both of those dimensions. You know what I mean? Greetings, melanated beings, unsunny delights, and everyone in between. You have now entered the K Chronicles, Chapter 1. I am your hostess, K McFly, and thank you for being here. In this first episode, or in this first chapter, I wanted to kick it off with really focusing on self, knowing thyself. Okay, I saw this podcast, or I saw this YouTube interview from a sister named Danielle Young, who does a lot of interviews with celebrities she does celebrities, but she does entertainers of all kinds, known and unknown. In this particular episode, she interviewed Cat Williams, who, if you know me, that's my favorite comedian of all time. When I was little, the first thing I ever wanted to be was a comedian. And then I saw him and I was like, I definitely want to be a comedian. Like, oh, I love Cat Williams so much. But that's neither here nor there. I saw this interview and I really enjoyed it. But what I really enjoyed the most was, I believe, the last question that she asked him. And I'm going to play a clip for you right now.
Besides your name and what you do, who are you? And what is one thing that you love most about who you are and how you show up in this world?
Okay, so when she asked this question, I was just like, I want this to be the first. I want this to be the center point of the first episode of the K Chronicles. Like, because I believe it is so important to ask that question to yourself. Like, who are you? Who am I? Like, who even am I? And I ask myself that all the time. You know what I mean? And so I'm going to answer it for you right here. It's always weird when like you're asked this question, because obviously it's you, right? Like, who am I? You should just be like, it should just come out. You should just already know. But it is something that you do have to think about, right? Like, because I think that, well, for me, I want to be gentle and I want to use my words wisely when I'm referring to myself, because I want it to be clear of what I mean. I want it to be, I want it to, if you heard it not out of my mouth, you would know who that person is talking about. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But for me, I have to write it down. Okay. For me, I said, a free-spirited sunflower child. I'm always advocating for love and fairness, and I'm always going to speak up when no one else will. I'm a creative ambivert, and for those who don't know what an ambivert is, it is someone who can basically exude both introvert and extrovert energy. So like, there's times when I'm super extrovert and I want to talk to people and I'm like, hey, yeah. But then once that depletes, then I need to go back into my shell or into hiding or into my safe space so I can recharge and, you know what I mean, get back into having enough energy to be an extrovert, So that's what that means. And then I'm a creative ambivert, and a crazy cat lady in training. And I'm a motherfucking diva. Like, I am, I feel like in my head, I'm like this, like you see me and I'm very, people say, I guess I would be considered like an alternative Black person. I don't really know. I keep hearing that, but like, I'm, I guess, a hippie externally, which is dope because that's what I see myself as. That's what I am. Like you know what I mean? I'm hippie energy, but like also I'm like luxury energy, bitch. Like I'm like fur coats, fucking thigh high boots, and like a Swarovski crystal little zhuzh. You feel me? Like just with my sunglasses on, like giving people the stank face. Like bitch, that's like I live in that, like both of those dimensions. You know what I mean? So yeah, like that's who I am. But um, I really loved that she even asked that question to him. Oh, and then sorry, I forgot about the secondary question, which is, um, what about what do you love most about who you are and how you show up in this world? And so I would say, you know what I mean, like I love that I can easily talk to people and just make friends and be like I love that my energy is the energy of the room. I love that I set the tone of whatever space that I'm in. Um, and I've always been told that even as a child, like going to school, and I would go to school and enter a room. Like I could have a bad morning. Maybe my dad was irritating me, and maybe I had a fight with my sister. Whatever the case, maybe I just woke up on the wrong side of the fucking bed. But I would go into school, and this was from elementary on, girl. Like I would go into school, and if I came in with a bad attitude or just in a bad mood, don't speak to nobody or whatever, like I would get pulled out of class from the teacher to let me know, like, hey, like I noticed like you're a little off today, and like just know like you the way that your energy is, it sets the tone for the classroom. So when you come in with an attitude, it makes the whole class have this like funky, like standoffish energy. But then when I come in and I'm like, hey, y'all, like, whatever, then the class is like very warm and very loving, wants to engage. And I'm just like, first of all, that's a lot of pressure to be putting on a child. Like, why are y'all focused on me anyway? But which is kind of like a blessing and a curse. Like, it sucks that that is the case because I can't just live right. Like, I mean, I can, but because I know that my energy will set the tone of the spaces that I'm in. I am very aware of it. I'm very aware of like, you know what, I'm gonna make sure that I always. Oh, I just had a little chill. I'm gonna make sure that I always, you know, try to exude positivity, and not even in an unauthentic way. It's just it suits me. Like it makes me feel good to make everybody feel good. You know what I mean? I love to be the morale of the room. I love to, hey, how you doing? You good? You feeling good? You feeling good? Like that's me. I go around and talk to everybody. Um, and so yeah, I think like making people feel comfortable, feel heard, feel included is always what I've, loved about me. And another example I can give is like, when you're like having a conversation with people, a group of people, and everybody's talking, everybody's having, contributing to the conversation. And then maybe one person uses one person, and then they're talking, and then whatever they're saying, somehow, some way, people just somehow aren't engaged in the conversation anymore. I don't care. I'm going to make sure that I give that person my most undivided attention. I'm going to make sure that they understand, no, I don't care what anybody else is doing. I see you, friend. I hear you, friend. I'm with you, friend. I'm following the story. Like, no. You know what I mean? I hate feeling ignored. And so I never want people to feel like that. I never want people to feel like that. And so that's my answer to that. But I did want to transition into why I felt like this question was an important question, not only just to introduce the K Chronicles podcast, but also to really ask yourself, like, I really want you to ask yourself this question and really sit with it, like, because I think that it's important to know who you are. so no one can tell you who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't ever let anybody have that like power to tell you who you are, because you lack the knowledge yourself, because you lack like inner understanding, and you lack like um emotional intelligence, and maybe self-awareness. It's really, I think I've been this person for a while, like the kind of person who is very intuitive and wants to understand why I am the way that I am, why things trigger me, why um, maybe I have a certain personality and some people don't. Like, why is it that my energy sets the tone and some people's don't? Like, what is that about? And I've always tried to like figure myself out, so that way, because my dad used to always say, I know you better than you know yourself. And so I always made it my mission to know myself better than he knew me. Like, you know what I mean? And not even just him, but anybody, And so, because I don't want people to tell me about me. And like, not to say no one can't tell you about you, right? Because there are things that maybe you've done for so long that you're not even aware of. And when people call it out, you get offended, or you maybe clutch your pearls, girl. Like, you're like, I don't do that. But it's like, no, sis, you do. You just aren't aware of it because you've done it for so long. It's just like muscle memory. I say all that to say, learn yourself. So learn thyself, so no one can tell you about thyself. Jafil? Jafil. Okay, next thing that made me think about, or next point that I wanted to make, was no contribution is too small. So stop downplaying yourself. You know what I mean? Like, stop, like how the question asked, what do you love most about who you are and how you show up in this world? Like, you don't have to be a martyr. You don't have to be out there picketing with the picket signs and, physically doing it. You don't have to, you don't have to do anything super strenuous to feel like who you are and what you contribute to this world is enough, because you are enough. You know what I mean? And I think that as long as first of all you're loving yourself first, like, you can only exude what you have within. So if you haven't even tapped into loving yourself first, there's no way that you're going to exude any positive or real like I guess love for anybody else. You know what I mean? Whether that be acts of kindness, or just words of affirmation, or anything like that. Like, you're not even gonna you need to tap into you first before you can exude anything else out. But aside from that, if you are just a nice person, if you maybe hold the door for people all the time, or maybe you cook for your family every morning, or you make sure that you put the toilet seat down, like, that's small contributions that you are doing. You're on the right track. You know what I mean? You're on the right track. So I feel like don't let anybody make you feel like what you're doing or who you are isn't enough, because, and that ties back into the self-love. You have to understand that you are first, so no one else could tell you that you're not. No one else could even make you second guess that what you're doing or who you are isn't enough, because you already know that. You already know that you are. So yeah. And then the third thing I wanted to say was, don't lose yourself to evolution. And what I mean by that is, people are constantly changing. People are constantly growing and evolving into better people, right? And so, for example, like, I got told so much when I was younger, and this was true, that I was mean. Cause I had a mouth on me. Like, I would really tear people down because they had me fucked up. I don't care. So, but that's how I felt. But I would like fight fire. Like, if they came at me with a little lighter, like, I would come with a fucking blowtorch. Like, I didn't care. And it became so bad that someone told me this, and I probably wasn't. So basically, this person at my high school basically told me that the words that I say make people, he told me and my friend at the time this. He said that the words that we say, or the things that we say to people, make people want to kill themselves. And I was so shocked. Like, in the moment, I was just like, I don't give a fuck. But till this day, I mentioned this so much. Like, I've said this to so many people. And it really resonated with me so much that I really made it a point to be really nice and like watch what I say and like hold my tongue. And it got to the point where I was holding my tongue so much that I was not being honest with myself, and I was doing myself a disservice because I was letting people run all over me, and I was allowing people to get away with things that I would not have normally allowed them to get away with. But because I was trying to tap into this new nice person or this new like way of being, I started to begin to lose myself and then turn into this person that I was just like, hold on. The OMI would have been checked. You would have been got checked and dropped. But so then I had to reevaluate some shit. And I was like, you know what? I can take a playbook out of the old me, and I can take a playbook out of the recent me, the current me, and then we're gonna make a mashup, right? We're gonna take a few things out, you know what I mean? She don't gotta be all extra. The mean one, like, okay, some things we don't have to hit everybody below the belt, so we'll take some of that out, and then her, the nice one, we can like maybe, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have to let people run all up. We can address certain things. We can hold people accountable. Okay. And so now I'm coming into this new person that I am today, or trying to be at least, that, you know what? I'm going to address what I have to address. I'm going to call out bullshit when I see bullshit, respectfully. I'm going to not engage in the back and forth or the escalation of an argument. Nope, we ain't doing that. It's not going to be any cussing, any yelling, none of that. You know what I mean? I need to learn when to shut the fuck up and when to walk away. I need to learn when to address certain things respectfully. Period. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So that pretty much wraps up the question. My bad. Okay. So yeah. So that pretty much wraps up that. I hope that you learned a little bit about me. I hope that you take some time to really reflect on the question and learn a bit about yourself, and try to find a balance between the person that you used to be that maybe you're trying to grow from, and the person you are now that like you are also trying to grow from, but trying to also keep the core parts of you. Don't lose the core parts of you. Well, McNuggets, that concludes this first episode of the K Chronicles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like this podcast, this video, if you're feeling me. Please share this video if you love me. And if you are absolutely obsessed, please subscribe. Okay, I will see you on the next chapter, and have a good weekend.